Hello everyone. So I have not been reading a lot, if you can tell if you've been following my channel, and so I'm very excited to actually do a reading vlog for the first time in 2021, and it's going to be around Lala from Books and Lala's Buzzwordathon. So it is time to actually get reading this year. I have not been reading that much. Obviously, if you follow my channel, you know I have posted like next to no videos since I think like October. Everyone needs a break, guys. Everyone needs a break, y'all. It's just kind of the way that it goes sometimes. But I have been participating in Lala from Books and Lala's Buzzwordathon this year. I am proud to report I have read 2 books this year so far, so pretty on track to get my Goodreads goal. Not really, but you know what? Sometimes you just have to read slow and you just gotta take the breaks when you can get them. This week I'm participating in Books and Lala's Buzzwordathon for the month of March, and I am very excited. So it is actually Sunday, February 28th, and I'm not starting until tomorrow, March 1st, but I did want to put out the introduction for this vlog because I wanted to kind of lay out my plans going forward. So the March theme is time. It's actually a word, it's time. So I have a couple of books that I want to read for this month. The first one is going to be This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal, El-Mohtar and Max Gladstone. I've heard a lot about this book. A lot of people have raved about it. There have been a couple people who felt like it was overhyped, all these different things. But this is the group book for the Buzzwordathon, and so I do actually want to read this because I haven't read any of the other group books yet. This is going to be my #1 priority, is to read this book. The only other physical book that I own that has time in the title is The Fire This Time by Jesmyn Ward. I've had this book for a while and I have not read it yet because I was in graduate school and I was reading so many nonfiction books for graduate school that I could just really only focus on what I had to read, my required readings, and it just became too much for my brain at times that I just didn't have the capacity to read any more nonfiction or very in-depth sci-fi or fantasy, which is my favorite genre, so that's what I'm doing now, is trying to kind of catch up on all that stuff. So this is going to be the second book I want to try to read. I think I'm going to, because this is a nonfiction, I think what I'm going to do is try to separate out like 6 or 7 sections so I have a section to read each day. I think that will be incredibly helpful for me to break this up a little bit. Okay, so the only other book that I have a copy of right now is The Psychology of Time Travel by Kate Mascarenas. This has been on my TBR for a little while, and I think I bought the ebook last year for a readathon that I was doing that I never ended up getting around to reading. So I mean, good for me, future me right now in 2021 that happened, so I have this extra book to read. And so it is in 1967, 4 female scientists work together to build the world's first time machine, but just as they are about to debut their creation, one of them suffers a breakdown, putting the whole project and future of time travel in jeopardy. 50 years later, time travel is big business. And 20-something Ruby Rebello knows her beloved grandmother, Granny B, was one of the pioneers, though no one will tell her more. But when B receives a mysterious newspaper clipping from the future reporting the murder of an unidentified woman, Ruby becomes obsessed. Could it be B? Who would want her dead? And most importantly of all, can her murder be stopped? And this book also sounds really great. I think I have 3 really awesome books to read. I'm very excited. I will check in with you all tomorrow to see my progress and how things are going. Hey everyone, so it is now Tuesday morning and I thought I would give an update since I did not update yesterday. I just finished today's section of The Fire This Time. I did not read much yesterday, which is why I didn't update anything. I read 17 pages of The Fire This Time, which I think was basically just the introduction and the first essay. Yeah, so this is basically an essay collection of sort of reactionary reactionaries has like kind of a negative connotation, but like reactions to specifically Trayvon Martin and the beginnings of the Black Lives Matter movement back in like 2014, 2015. And so this book is obviously still incredibly relevant, and I'm really enjoying it. I don't want to say I'm enjoying it just because it is really heartbreaking and sad like circumstances, and it's talking about just the racism of America and the way that it has permeated in a lot of ways throughout our history and our present, and the way that the history of America, and specifically the history of slavery, has interwoven into every aspect of our present and future in how things stand currently. But yeah, so I don't want to say I'm enjoying it just because the subject matter isn't an enjoyable subject matter. But I am feeling a lot, and I'm enjoying the different voices that are in here, the different ways that everyone's writing about certain things, the tone that they have, the stories they're telling. I'm enjoying that aspect, I'll say. Yeah, so since I read my section of here, I'm going to be moving on to This Is How You Lose the Time War, but I also might pick up The Psychology of Time on my Kindle instead today. I don't know. It's still early on Tuesday morning, so I don't know ultimately what I'm going to end up reading for the rest of the day. I've got some other things I've got to do, so there's a chance I might not read any more today, which would make me feel incredibly stressed going into Wednesday, because the week will be like half over and I will have not read a single book. But it's going to be what it's going to be. I will see how I feel in the future. Hello, happy Wednesday. Thought I would do a quick update. I did read my Wednesday section of The Fire this time. Overall, I think this was my favorite section to read because I liked 3 essays like back to back to back. Like all of the essays are really good, but like these 3, I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully. Where Do We Go From Here by Isabel Wilkerson, The Dear Pledges of Our Love, A Defense of Phyllis Wheatley's Husband by Honoré Fanon Jeffers, and White Rage by Carol Anderson. The 3 of them were really good. I just feel like they really worked together. So tomorrow I move on to part 2, The Reckoning. And I'm pretty excited to kind of keep going in this essay collection. The writing is just phenomenal in here, and I am just in awe of the talent, to be honest with you. Yeah, remember how yesterday I said I was going to read? I didn't. I didn't start This Is How You Lose the Time War at all yet. I didn't read The Psychology of Time. I didn't do anything. But I did remember about When No One Is Watching. So yesterday, the Literally Dead book club posted on Instagram about the live show that's happening this weekend. And I thought, oh yeah, I remember I was reading that book. I should probably finish that if I want to go to the live show. Now, the conundrum I'm in is I am only on page, what page is this? 46 of this book. So in order to participate in the live show, I would have to read this by this weekend. But I also have This Is How You Lose the Time War, and I also have The Psychology of Time, plus the second half of The Fire this time. So that would be basically 3.5 books to read by Sunday. Do I think I can do it? Honestly, I do not know, because I have been in such a reading slump. I've just been in a general exhaustion slump, to be honest with you. It's why I've not put anything out on my channel. It's why I've just kind of done a whole lot of stuff. I deleted like my Twitter account for booktube because I was just feeling so overwhelmed with how much I felt like I had to do, and so that's why I took a huge step back. So I'm worried that if I add this to my list, it will just cause me to shut down and just be like, well, then I won't read the rest of the time. Also, no one is holding me to I have to do it in a week. I could take longer. The whole point is just to read. It's just to read. So I don't know. What I think I'm going to do is I have Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin's like 7-hour readings, snugly support sprints, the reading sprints that he did the other day. I have that on right now, so I think what I might do is listen to that for a bit, and I think I'm actually going to continue reading when no one is watching, since I am in the middle of it, and just kind of see how the afternoon takes me. Maybe I'll get super into this and finish it today, since it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't have anything more to do today. Well, I do have to clean, but if that's the only thing I have to do, maybe I'll read for a couple hours now, then take a break and work on that, and then do dinner, and then come back and read a little bit more before I go to bed tonight. So wish me luck, and I guess enjoy this time-lapse footage. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of it because I'm hoping to read a lot today, but we shall see. Okay, so it's Wednesday night at about 8 p.m. and I finished when no one is watching. I didn't expect to finish it today, but I did. A huge shout out to Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin. He did like a 7-hour reading sprints video, and I've just had that on all day and thought I would take a break to do some cleaning. Didn't, but I did officially finish this book. I actually really liked it. I think the psychological aspect of it is really good. There's a continued sense of dread throughout the entire book, and sorry, just trying to stop moving my hand so much. And the story is really interesting. I cannot wait for the live show on Saturday. It was super good. I'm just like trying to like process it all. Like I said, it's 8 o'clock. I don't think I'm going to start This Is How You Lose the Time War today. I think I just need to take a break because I have been reading for like the last 5.5 hours basically straight. So that's going to be my plans. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Hello everyone. So I have not updated in since Wednesday, and it's Friday, so my bad. I did obviously, I think, finish When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. I absolutely loved this book. I really enjoyed reading it. It really brought you into that like headspace and the like anxiety that was there for Sydney, and I think Alyssa Cole just did a fantastic job of keeping that heightened sense, all the heightened emotions throughout the entire book. So I absolutely loved this book. I was very excited to have read it, so then I'll be able to participate in or at least go to the live show that's for Literally Dead. I think that's happening tomorrow's Saturday. I think so. It doesn't matter. And then I'm almost done with The Fire This Time, edited by Jesmyn Ward. I was trying to read like a section a day, but I kind of got a little overwhelmed or like swept away, so I just have the last part here to read, which is Jubilee, which is about like the future. Still enjoying this collection. I think all the voices that Jesmyn Ward found or collaborated with work really well in this collection. I think the overall feeling, I feel like all of the pieces kind of work together to create the overall vision, and that's really good. So I'm thinking I'll probably finish this tomorrow and not today, because I want to get some more other reading done, and this will be a nice thing to wake up and read the little section before I continue, before I kind of go on with my weekend. Now here's where I'm struggling a little bit. This is How You Lose the Time War. I started it and I'm on page 66. So it's not that I don't like it, but I also don't love it. You know, where I like the idea of the story and I like the pieces of it, but I'm just not as engaged as I want to be with it. And I think part of that problem is just because it has been so hyped that whenever you don't immediately feel that same sense of hype, so it's like whenever you read a book that is incredibly hyped, as soon as you get to it, you're expecting to feel those things that everyone is telling you to, like, immediately. And when you don't, I think it just hits you twice as hard, and I think that's what's happening with this book. So I marked out another section of this. I marked out to section 132. And so I think what I might try to do is read to that part today, and then I'll just have one more section to read over the weekend. Or I might just put it aside for today and just focus on the psychology of time. I don't know. So yeah, ultimately I'm going to say 2 books read. I've started one of them and I still have one more to read for this weekend. It is Friday afternoon, like I said, so I still have some time. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do. I think talking about this book, I don't want to read it right now. So I think what I'll do is I will do a little bit, some reading sprints, and just read for a bit of the Psychology of Time and see if that book draws me in more than This Is How You Lose the Time War is currently. And just sort of hope that that is what's going to happen, you know. Fingers crossed, I suppose. But I will update you tomorrow for sure, especially with whenever I finish. This is The Fire this time. So yeah, so I'm going to do a little bit more reading today and obviously spend a lot of time reading this weekend. So hopefully that all works out. Oops. No, I'll just leave my glasses on. It's fine that you're getting a glare. Okay, so quick update. It is now Saturday morning and I honestly am more behind than I would like to be. I've also moved locations. I'm in my room, but I've moved my chair to the corner by my window. I'm surrounded by my plants on each side, which is why there's this weird purple light behind me. Don't worry about it. I'm trying to figure out where I want to have this chair because I like it. It's very comfortable, but since I've been working from home for the last year, I've had to kind of incorporate a desk table thing, and I had to get a much more comfortable chair to sit in for 8 to 9 hours. This one is too low and has no back support, so that wasn't working very well after so many months. So now my problem is I have a smaller room, I don't have a ton of space, and there just isn't really a lot of space for 2 chairs, a desk, and a queen-size bed, and all my other crap. So we'll see. I'm starting to think that maybe I will move this shelving thing to this corner. So there's only one plant on this one. It's my little spider plant, which you can kind of see back there. So what I might do is have the shelving unit here and the top shelf open for more books, and then this little table I might move in this location, and then all my plants should fit on that. This might free up some space for this chair in here because I can't really go very far back because it's just the whole thing. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. Spring cleaning is the perfect time for that. But that all means nothing. I don't know why I'm giving you an update about how I'm going to organize my room. It does not matter. I don't think anyone cares. But I'm telling you anyways. So, reading updates. I'm on chapter 8 of the Psychology of Time, and I'm actually really enjoying it. It's really, really good. I got really drawn into it yesterday, so like I said, I got to chapter 8 already. I'm actually going to keep reading it today. I will likely try to read a little bit of the This Is How You Lose the Time War, because I'd like to get to another third done of this book. But for right now, I'm going to keep reading The Psychology of Time just because it is what is kind of grabbing my attention. So that's the plan for this afternoon. I'm probably going to read for a little bit now, take a break, grab some lunch, read a little bit, and then I have to go and take my computer in because it is not working, which is not great because I already took it in a couple of weeks ago to get the whole hard drive replaced. So I don't know, fingers crossed it works out. I haven't been able to edit or publish any of the videos I filmed for this month, so I don't really know how that's gonna work out. I'm just trying not to worry about it, focusing on my reading. I've still got a lot to do this weekend. I'll have a lot to do the next couple of weeks, so I'm just gonna kind of go for it and see how it all works out. Wish me luck. Okay, so it's Saturday afternoon ish, and I thought I would do another quick update. So I did get to page 132 of This Is How You Lose the Time War. I'm interested in it, but it's not grabbing me. But now I'm down to the last like 70 pages, so I'm gonna finish it, but I don't know. There's something, it's almost like there's a disconnect for me reading this book of the excitement to read it, I guess. Where like the story is interesting and the writing is really good, and I like Red and Blue and their letters are interesting, but I guess I'm just not invested in their story or their characters. But I am happy to have made progress in this book, so I'm excited. I'll probably finish this up tomorrow. Oh, did I say I finished The Fire this time? I think I forgot to mention that. It's fine, I'll talk about it at the end of this vlog. And then now I'm on chapter 38. I'm now on chapter 38 of The Psychology of Time Travel. So I'm making a lot of progress. I'm gonna try to read a little bit more of this tonight yet and then finish it up tomorrow. Ultimately, my goal is just to read, and if I have to kind of go a little longer, I have to go a little longer. It's not like I'm gonna have this vlog up this week anyways because my laptop is being fixed. So The Psychology of Time Travel follows a lot of different perspectives and a lot of different peoples and their sort of relationship with the Conclave, which is the time travel organization. The time travel organization was founded by technically 4 women, but ultimately 3. Margaret, Grace, I don't remember the other one's name. What's her name? Lucille. Lucille is the other one. And then Barbara. And Barbara, after time traveling the first time, kind of had a quote-unquote psychotic break, and Margaret was the spearhead to kind of oust her from the Conclave and from time travel itself. And so she has basically spent her life trying to get back, as well as want to talk to her friends again because they also never spoke to her again. And her granddaughter Ruby is now kind of brought into this. And then we're following a bunch of different time travel agents and their role within the Conclave and how it plays out, and sort of showing the way that working with time travel changes people and how some of those changes are forced kind of a reconditioning. But I'm very, very intrigued. I feel like every time I get a handle on how something is going to go down, it changes on me, and I'm actually really enjoying that fact. I'm really enjoying this book. I'm glad that I was able to pick it up. I'm glad that I'm reading so much of it kind of in one go, and then hopefully finish that up tomorrow. So wish me luck. Okay, so it is Sunday morning, and I just finished This Is How You Lose the Time War. Weirdly, I really liked it. I say weirdly in the sense that I feel like the last couple updates I've given about this book, I've been kind of less than enthused about it, I guess I'll say. And I still feel like the beginning 2/3 are a little slower paced, and it might be a little difficult for people to kind of get into. At least it was for me. Even though I liked the world, I think all the pieces were too confusing for you to really grasp onto. However, the last third of this book is very, very good. The stakes are incredibly high. All the pieces that I have been struggling with finally kind of come together in this puzzle that I can finally see. And I absolutely loved it. I thought it was so good. It was so interesting. And I feel like this is going to have really high reread value because now that I know all of the pieces, I can pick up on a lot more when I go back and reread it, which I probably will at some point in the future. So this book is done, so now I have 3 books read, technically only 2 for this TBR. I'm still only I'm a little over 50% of the way through The Psychology of Time Travel, so I'm hoping to finish that today. If I don't, I will finish it tomorrow and just wait to publish this vlog until I finish it because I don't have a computer, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so I'm on chapter 61 of The Psychology of Time Travel, and I'm loving this book. It's so interesting. And what I'm concerned about is I still have 70% of this book to go. And the mystery's kind of been solved at this point. So I'm confused and curious as to where we're going next. I worry that it's going to be one of those books that kind of overstays its welcome, if that makes sense, where it should have wrapped up, they kind of continue on just to increase like word count and stuff like that. So I don't know. Okay, so another quick update. There is nowhere else for this book to go. It is over. I finished the last like 2 chapters and it's just like, we hope you enjoyed this book, and then I turned the page at 73% and it has all of the like appendices and things. I just wasn't expecting that. I was really concerned. I was like, where can this story go? I feel like we've solved it. I just thought that was really funny. Alright, I'm going to take some time to figure out what I want to say about this book, and then I will get back to you. I have calmed down a bit and I'm ready to talk. So, overall, I absolutely love The Psychology of Time Travel. I thought it was incredibly fun. It was inventive. The, like, mystery I was not expecting, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was really excited to kind of see all of the pieces tying themselves together. And I think, like, all the characters were really good. And I think the thing that was most interesting to me was arguably the psychology of time travel, because in this world, time travel is a job, and it's a special job. And there's a sort of way that time travelers are conditioned, I guess, to living in this world and in this life where they're no longer tethered to a specific time strand, which is wild to think about. But also when you look at the way people who aren't tethered to this quote unquote reality of the timeline, they look at life and death very, very differently. And so they have to come up with a way to kind of force these workers, these people, to not care so much about death and dying and life and, you know, living after people die, as well as the people who are kind of callous about people dealing with death in their everyday life. Like, what I mean by that is, like, when people are not living with the reality of death, when they can sort of jump backwards and forwards and kind of continually talk to people even after they've died, they just go back in time. It just creates this really weird sort of paradox in their head And it was so interesting to see that both exploited and conditioned. So I found that really fascinating. I absolutely loved this book. I think it was my favorite of the books I've read this week. I absolutely loved it. So a quick sort of recap of the week. The first book I read was When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. This is a thriller set in a gentrifying city in a Brooklyn suburbs. It follows Sydney and Theo as they sort of start to uncover the deeper conspiracy that's going on, and Sydney grappling with a lot of her past trauma as what she's seeing is sort of questioned by herself and others. There's a lot of themes of obviously racism, capitalism, and gentrification. The atmosphere was so well done. I honestly could not believe that this is Alyssa Cole's first thriller, because I know she's written a lot of romances, and the fact that she was able to so amazingly capture such a good atmosphere and the feelings and the tone and stay so consistent in it was fantastic. She is just such an amazing writer. I absolutely loved this book. I feel like there was so many good things to it. The pacing worked really well with it. The story itself worked really well with the characters she created, where the characters were really carrying the story in a way that really made sense and really made everything about this book even more compelling. I absolutely loved Sydney. I think she's one of my new favorite characters. I absolutely just loved this book. Even though it wasn't for the Buzzwordathon, I still am happy that I read it this week. So then going on to books I read for the Buzzwordathon, the theme of the week was the word time. That was the buzzword. So I read The Fire This Time, which was a collection of essays edited by Jesmyn Ward. Fantastic collection. Every piece was so well written, and the way that they flowed together was fantastic. Some of my favorites were Where Do We Go From Here by Isabel Wilkerson. Also really liked The Dear Pledges of Our Love, A Defense of Phyllis Wheatley's Husband by Honoré Fanone Jeffers. And what's another one I really liked? Black and Blue by Garnett Cadogan. Those are just three that I really liked. I marked them a lot. So just the collections were amazing. Very happy that I was able to read this in the week. I've been trying to read more nonfiction in general, so I was happy to be able to add this on my list. The next book I read was This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal, El-Mohtar, and Max Gladstone. So it's basically the story of two women, Blue and Red, and they are on opposing sides of this time war. They meet at a certain time and they spend the rest of the time exchanging secret letters. That's kind of the story in very, very bare bones-ness. I'll be honest, this one was really kind of difficult for me because the first 2/3 I wasn't really invested. I didn't really care about either Blue or Red. I just felt very confused mostly, where I couldn't really place what was happening. I couldn't really tell the characters apart too much, in the sense of I didn't really feel like I didn't really know the characters that well. I didn't feel like I understood them or got them, and I was just more so trying to piece together all of the world building and things like that. That being said, though, the last third of this book is so good, and it finally brings into focus everything that I had been struggling with, so I could see the full picture. And it was so incredibly well done. I think the rereadability on this book is incredibly high, because now that you know all of the pieces, I think reading it again, you'll just be that much more in tune to what's going on. Okay, and then the last book I read was The Psychology of Time Travel by Kate Mascarenas. I highly, highly recommend it. It is very, very interesting. It ends with a whole bunch of self-evaluations, which are sort of geared off of the evaluations that they use in the conclave when they're admitting new recruits, which I thought was fun and interesting. But since I'm in the middle of a pandemic and still sort of stuck at home, I feel like maybe it's not the best time to evaluate my fears and anxiety about death. So I just kind of pushed those to the side for now. The Psychology of Time Travel was my favorite book that I read this week. That is my recap, and my recap of my buzzword vlog. Let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these books, if you agreed with my thoughts, and if there are any that you might pick up in the future. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.